Hey kids, this is Ivan. How you doing? It is the 20th of August, day 20 of RPG a Day 2017. And what is our question for today? It is, what is the best source for out-of-print RPGs? And so the simple answer to this question is, I don't know. I bought some out-of-print RPGs, but not very many of them. I went to my local game and comic store down the street, and boom, they had a copy of 7th Sea First Edition. I'd kind of heard about that from Nolan Inquisitor, and they had the player's guide, and I got it for a relatively good price, so I was happy. But am I going to send you there? No, probably not, because, well, he doesn't have a lot of stuff. He does have some other print stuff, but is he the best place? I don't know. I haven't bought a bunch of stuff. In terms of like buying like PDFs or whatnot, or whether they're scanned or otherwise, and we know the issues with scanned PDFs. Well, I can give you the stock answers. There's lots of stuff available on Drive-Through RPG or RPG Now. But am I qualified to give you the answer for that question? No, not really. So that's my answer. However, rather than make a video that's like a minute long, because who wants that from me when you can hear me talk for a little while longer, I figured I'd look at these alternate questions. I know I've already answered a couple of them by default, but one of them that kind of seemed related to this question a little bit was, what makes an RPG special, or an RPG book special in your eyes? And that's to me is more of a compelling question, or something that I have more experience with. But it ties in a lot to, like, why would I go looking for this out-of-print RPG in the first place? What would compel me to go do that? And there are some of them, might be a nostalgia thing. Like, I would really love to get myself a copy of the basic and expert sets, like in really good shape, of the Moldvay Cook Marsh 1981 basic BX D&D. But that's like collection type thing. I can get the PDFs. I can have one printed up for me, or a facsimile thereof. Not that big of a deal. Just a collection thing. A couple other games that I would love to like get my hands on some of the out of print stuff. But I know there's clones out there. I know that I can get the PDFs, for them. I know a lot of them have been re-released, etc. I'm talking about things like Marvel superheroes, or some of the original Traveler or Boot Hill or whatever. Just to, look at it. But that's not a big deal. So what makes an RPG book so special that I would have to go out and try to find it, or try to find a PDF of it, or whatever? Like, what would make me want to go out and purchase this game that people are no longer producing? And the big thing, I already kind of mentioned it, is the recommendation of some other people, especially when a game's gone through several editions or iterations or whatever, and somebody says, hey, you know what? They're a big fan of the game. This is the sweet spot right here. This particular edition, they got it right. And of course, everybody has going to have a different opinion on something like that. But in general, there's people that I've grown to know well enough that I kind of know what their tastes are. We might not agree on everything, but I respect their opinion. And sometimes I'll check stuff out, maybe like little snippets of it or whatnot, and say, you know what, yeah, I think they're right on this one. I remember having a conversation, it's actually been a while ago now, I was talking like D100 and BRP and Call of Cthulhu with Runeslinger. And it's funny, I never played Call of Cthulhu. I mean, it makes sense based on the fact that I just got busy with real life. But I'm a huge Lovecraft fan, love all that stuff. And something like a D100 system, I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but like, it's D100, it's percentage based. That's easy math. Just really, I like percentages. Anybody can understand that kind of stuff. So it's odd that I've never played it. So I'm talking to him like, there's 7 versions now, which, and I've heard that the 7th they kind of changed some rules, and not everybody's super happy about it. And they didn't sound like the kind of changes I would particularly like, to be honest with you. But I was asking, like, what, in your opinion, would be one of the better versions to get? And I can't remember if we said 5 or 6. It's way back in this Messenger conversation we've had. I'll never find it. I don't think there's a search function in Messenger to find that kind of stuff. But the idea being that, like, you can take the recommendations of other people and say, hey, this is where the sweet spot was. This is where they explain the rules the best. This is where it was firing on all cylinders. This is where, you get the idea. Where the setting was really, really good. So that's part of what makes it special. But that they got it right. But in terms of like, what do I think is special when I check one out, it's really like, it's the whole package. I mean, the biggest thing that I want to see is the rules presented really clearly, really well. I want something that, there's a premise or something that grabs me really, really hard. Like, this is really cool. It's funny, I was watching Lee, Your Humble Games Master videos on Mage. And, World of Darkness products, that's the one system I never played out of many. And the only ones that really kind of grab me as I look at the premise of them are Wraith and Mage. Those things just grab me instantly. I'm like, that sounds really cool. So that's part of what makes a book or an RPG special to me, is it's this really great premise. it's got to be, the rules have got to be laid out really well. The rules have to make sense. You know, if the system sucks, you know, sorry, I'm not really into it anymore. If the setting is, you know, presentation of the setting is done in such a way, you know, that it's engaging, it's interesting, it makes me like want to know more about it, but they don't dump like a ton of it on me, and it's this big giant, you know, you watch my channel, you know that too much setting information, my eyes roll up in the back of my head. So yeah, just well written in a variety of ways. You know, artwork doesn't have to be like a ton of artwork, but the artwork that's in there doesn't have to be spectacular, but just evocative of that particular feel. You kind of know what you're getting into, and just, you know, just present it in a logical manner, just enough flavor here and there. And it's funny, I just watched a Red Dice Diaries video on best writing, and you know, he and I picked the same book, you know, and it was, you know, it could be toss up for both of us like what it is, but something like Lamentations of the Flame Princess. Now, I'm not just saying this because I'm a fanboy. It's that the book is really laid out really well. The book becomes very special. It's a quality book. You know, the artwork is compelling. The way it's laid out is compelling. There's just enough flavor text in it here and there that it just kind of grabs you, and the rules are laid out really, really well. Just you know, it's a good mix. And it's funny because this is a version of like one of my favorite games. I talked about it already, about BX. You know, that's out of print. You know, basic fantasy role-playing game, in my opinion, did it better. That's BX with a couple twists. This, you know, kicked it up a notch and did it even better. You know, so this is a special RPG book in my eyes, but not out of print. So anyhow, kind of a long and convoluted answer to two questions. The first of which is, you know, actually day 20, is I don't know. So now I'm talking about why would I go out and try to find something that's out of print. And there are a ton of games out there that I'm very, very interested in. And it turns out the version I'm the most interested in is out of print. So I have to go try to find it. Whether it was something that was produced a long time ago and they made different versions, or it's a game that was just produced and they don't print it anymore. They've moved on, the company's moved on to different projects. And there's a ton of it out there. The downside to all that, and then I'll end my rather long video, which was supposed to be really short, is that, you know, the age of the internet, people now know what their stuff is worth. Gone are the days, you know, being a musician, you could go in and buy some guitars or bass guitars or amplifiers, and you go to like a pawn shop, people didn't know what they had. There's that classic story of Geddy Lee from Rush buying his jazz bass he recorded just about everything with, you know, for $200 in a pawn shop. Nowadays they know what they have. They can go to the internet and look it up. So yeah, that's the end of this rather long video about something that should have taken me a short time to talk about. But it's my channel. You've grown to expect this, haven't you?